Okay, hello and welcome. How was that? That was my singing. This is the very first, number one, Ichiban review of Terrace House. And I went around YouTube just now in preparation, did a little research on Wikipedia, and there is a guy who does a regular review of Terrace House. I didn't watch enough of his video. I don't think he lives in Japan. Um, I believe he's probably in America. But it's on Netflix. It's all over the world, I think. And here in Japan, it's on Fuji Television and on Netflix, so you can watch it two ways. Um, and then there are other random reviews of it. Nobody really consistent other than this one guy. So what I hope to do is be consistent, and every Monday or Tuesday, the show is on for me on it goes up on my Netflix on Monday. So I usually watch it after I get home from work Monday night. It's kind of a thing now that I do. Um, the current season is called Terrace House Aloha State. And unfortunately, according to Wikipedia, it got extended to 36 episodes, but last Monday's episode was number 32. So there's only four more. So I guess what I'll do is I'll introduce the series here, and then we'll pick up with the next episode, number 33, next week while I'm still on vacation. We'll do a couple, and then we'll pretty much wrap it up. So if you go to Netflix and you look in Aloha State, there's four parts. Part 1 has 8 episodes, Part 2 has 8 episodes, Part 3 has 8 episodes, and then Part 4 has more than that. 32, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. So, timing is not the greatest maybe for starting this, but like I said yesterday, if you watched my long vlog yesterday that I put up, I just kind of want to get people into it and it'll give you, if you've never watched the show, it'll give you plenty of time to go back and binge and watch a lot of the older stuff, and then we can start the new season together if you're into it like I am, when it starts hopefully in 2018 would be my guess. Okay, so a little bit about the show in general. There was a show called Terrace House Boys and Girls Next Door, and it started in 2012, so a little while back, and it was only on Japanese TV. It ran for a heck of a long time and a lot of episodes. Let me pull it up here real quick. 8 seasons and a total of, it doesn't say how many episodes. 22 different people lived in the house over the course of time. 13, 25, 38. Wow. 98 episodes. Almost 100 episodes. Now, those are on Netflix. At least in Japan, they're on Netflix Japan. But those are not subtitled. They're only in Japanese. So, I have not watched any of the original series. But you really don't need to. You can definitely, it's like any reality show. The thing that is closest for me, and maybe one of the reasons I like the show so much, is it's a lot like a show that they used to have on MTV back in the day called The Real World. And I was totally prime, like that college age when The Real World started in the late 80s or early 90s. And I thought about trying to be on the show when it was in San Francisco. Because my girlfriend at the time was going to the University of Berkeley. I was living in San Diego, and I thought, this is great. I'll get to move up and live in San Francisco right near my old girlfriend for however long the show lasted. But I never did it, and I wouldn't have gotten on anyway. I don't think I was interesting enough, maybe at that point in my life. But anyway, so yeah, I used to love The Real World. Now, a big difference between American reality shows and this show is, and I'm going to borrow this term because I kind of like it, from another video that I'll put the description down in the box. There's a channel called Random Fox, and they did like an 18-minute ramble about a year ago about Terrace House, the previous season to the one now. And it's like a podcast, so there's nothing to watch, but they just talk about it. It's pretty funny. And some of the guys have been to Japan, so they kind of know what they're talking about. And they call the Tarento, the hired comedians that comment on the show, screen lords. So I like this term. So I'm going to call them screen lords too and borrow that term from them. And so what these are is the show starts and there's an intro sequence with a Taylor Swift song, and then immediately you're in a room with three women and three men. Occasionally, one of the guys has to go off and act or do their job somewhere else, but generally, it's a steady group of 5 or 6, and they are they're comedians. They're on Japanese TV a lot as commentators on this, that, and the other on variety shows. One of the younger guys that's on this season, Kentaro, is an actor, and he's in his 20s, so he's actually kind of the age of the people on the show, but the rest of them are all well over 35, I would say. Well, no, there's one other younger girl who is maybe a model or something. I don't know. She's cute, but she's kind of weird. Anyway, they are the ones that make this show. Okay, the reactions of those people to what's going on the show are the funniest part of the show. The show is not often very funny. Occasionally it is, but their reactions to what happens is what makes watching it so much fun for me. And so it's really different. Plus, they are watching it, I mean, obviously it's taped before, but they are watching it in quote-unquote real time. As we are watching it, they are watching it in their studio, and then it cuts back to them, and they react to what they and us, the audience that's watching at home, have just watched. So you kind of get an immediate, they all freak out if, somebody kisses, or they all go, oh my God, I can't believe she said that, or, oh, what's going to happen, or, oh, I'm so sad that person left, or, oh, isn't that person a terrible person? And they give the characters nicknames, like one of the guys they call the Guilty Samurai, and, it's just funny. Everything is in Japanese. So on Netflix here in Japan, I turn on the subtitles. So I watch it in Japanese with English subtitles. My guess is that's the way you watch it anywhere else in the world if you don't speak Japanese. The interesting thing about the current season, of course, is it's set in Hawaii. And I'll get to that in a minute. But so there is English involved sometimes. But going back, so they had this show. It ran for 8 seasons from 2012 to 2014. Pretty popular. And then what happened is they wanted to do another one, and that started in 2015, and it got picked up by Netflix. So Netflix started it in September of 2015, and this is the show I started with. It was about 8 episodes in when I discovered it, so I probably discovered it during my winter break, 2015, 2016, and started watching it. It lasted 46 episodes, the second season, and it was called Boys and Girls in the City. And the reason is the first season took place in this big house, but kind of near a beach in kind of a suburbs, like an outlying area. This second season takes place smack dab in the middle of Tokyo. And so the people they get are mostly from Tokyo. And so I wanted to see Tokyo. I kind of wanted to see the way young people interact, et cetera, et cetera. And the sociological way of observing Japanese young people. Now, I know that some of it's not staged, but I'm sure they're aware that they're being filmed at some points. But I still think, the true personalities come out most of the time. So I wanted to watch that, and you just get sucked in, and you will start to root for one character. Maybe they're trying to find love, or maybe they're trying to do better in their job, or whatever. Or you'll be like, oh, I hate that guy. Why doesn't anyone see how duplicitous he is, or whatever, So it started out with 6 people. It's always 3 girls and 3 boys. They're pretty much in their 20s. There occasionally is an 18 or 19-year-old, but it's rare. And the oldest person on the one that ran in Tokyo was a 27-year-old guy named Yuto, and there was at the very end a 29-year-old guy named Hayato. But most of them are kind of strictly 20 to 25-ish. And they're just discovering everything. Most of them are Japanese. But for instance, one of the guys that was on the show for a lot of episodes in the Tokyo one was named Aman, and he was half Japanese, half Iranian. And I think living in America when they called him up to be on the show. But anyway, so I would recommend starting there. Start with the Tokyo one because it's even more like the way Japanese people are with each other, because everybody on the show, with the exception of Armand, I think, is Japanese. And they go out and do things in Japan, in the Tokyo area for the most part. And they have, some of them have jobs. And a big thing about the show is that they live in this really nice big house. The 3 boys bunk together and the 3 girls bunk together. There's a separate room if people couple off with like tatami. There's a huge living room, a really big kitchen and everything. And they even had a pool, an outdoor pool, like on the terrace of the Terrace house in the Tokyo one. So for Tokyo people, especially that live in such tiny places for the most part, to live in such a big, huge house, that's one huge draw for them to be on the show. There's no prize money. They don't get anything out of it. You can become famous, but I don't know. At the very end of the very first, very long thing, they had a movie that actually played theatrically, I guess, to kind of wrap up some things. Again, it's not subtitled. It is on Netflix. I haven't watched it. I don't know that it was that popular when it came out to the movies here. But the show is well known. I'll tell my students every now and then, oh, I'm going to watch Terrace House tonight. And, a lot of them don't watch it. A lot of them don't have Netflix. Or they're just too busy studying. But a few of them are like, oh, really? Oh, I watched that too. Blah, blah, blah. So 17 people total came through the house. Like I said, always 3 girls, 3 boys. As soon as one person leaves, literally the next day, they're replaced. And you can leave at any time. One guy stayed like 11 episodes in the Tokyo season and was immediately replaced. So if it's a guy that leaves, it's always a guy that replaces him. And so in the Aloha State one, the current one, it started in November of 2016. So not that long back. And we had 3 girls, an aspiring model, an aspiring actor, a sales clerk, a carpenter, somebody that like didn't really have a job, and a ukulele player. Oh, that poor guy. And they started the show, and they all lasted, well, the first couple lasted about 10 episodes, and then the longest out of the original 6 was 22 episodes. And they just, slowly get replaced. And currently we have, we have Sherry, Wesley, Chikako, Mariko, Nita, she's brand new, Ryo, they're brand new. They literally just joined in the 30th episodes, like 2 episodes ago. And the Guilty Ninja, Taishi. Wesley is like a half black, half Japanese rapper, and he's like by far my least favorite character on the show ever. Taishi is just funny because he's looking for a love worth dying for, and he's like an aspiring actor, and he's so like overly dramatic and stuff. And it's just funny, like it's Hawaii. So of course, the girls walk around, sometimes in very loose clothing. A lot of them have lived in Hawaii before they joined the show. There's a lot more half people. There was a girl who started the show named Lauren, who I don't even think had any Japanese ties. I think she was half Chinese, half American, but she wanted to be on the show. She lasted 17 episodes. But she was fluent in Japanese. You have to be able to speak Japanese because that's they speak a little bit of English every now and then on the show. There was a guy named Guy who was a pro surfer. And that's real. I mean, he'd leave the show all the time to go off to surfing tournaments, and he won some big tournament. So his company wanted to take him on a tour. So he left the house. What was I going to say? Oh, I forget. Oh, so the girls, they wear bikinis. They have a pool at this Terrace house too. It's a really nice house. Huge like living room where they can go to watch movies and stuff. Huge kitchen. Big part of the show is this dining room table where they all sit 3 at a side. But anyway, sometimes the girls will wear bikinis or something, or and the screen lords back in Japan that are watching the show just go crazy, like, oh my god, I can't believe she's wearing that, how inappropriate or how indecent, oh my god, and it's just like, man, but it's so awkward at times. That's the part one of the big parts I love about the show is just the people are so awkward. It's just like, just kiss her already, it's just like, if Japanese people are really like this, and I really suspect a fair amount of them are, how awkward they are about relationships and stuff. It's a real interesting peek into the psychology of young Japanese people. And even on the Aloha one, where there's a lot of Western influence because a lot of them have lived in Hawaii or other places, or they're half Japanese. It's really, you'd be surprised. This one girl, it's like a scandal that she wants to like date two boys at once, and not have a boyfriend all the time, and she kissed the one boy and hasn't told the other boy. And it's crazy. It's like so like 20 years, I mean it's not even 20 years ago, it's like 1970s morals or something. But that is a big part of the show. That's a big part of the appeal, and the way the screen lords then comment on it. So they start the show, kind of set up what's going on, what happened last episode. You go into it. There's kind of like a commercial break. You can see where there's a break where Fuji Television probably inserts commercials. And on Netflix, there aren't any commercials. And then they come back, they have a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and then the screen lords come on again, and then they'll just like the last 10 minutes of the show. And then it always kind of, it's like the sound of a shutting door. And that's the end of that episode. And they vary, but they're about 25 to 32 minutes long each. So it's a half an hour show, basically. But I highly recommend it. And so come back next week, next Monday or Tuesday. I will watch the new episode. And the last one that I just watched was called The Monster She Made. And this new one comes out. Oh, maybe they're taking 1 week off, because it says here that it's going to come out on August 8th, not July, what would it be, like July 31st or something. So maybe there'd be no episode next week. So I've got 33, 34, and 35 here. I've got August 8, 15, 22, and then we don't know when the 36th, the grand finale, will be. But anyway, I'll put some links down in the description. There's an article you can read if you want to know more about it, with lots of links you can click. There's a website. Just type in Terrace House Fuji TV if you can read Japanese. There's all kinds of Japanese websites. I'm sure there's a Reddit that you can read all about some of it and go way into it. If you're into it, let me know who your favorite character is, who you like on the show, who you don't like, and I'll talk more about that next week. Maybe I'll just do that next week if there's no new episode. I'll just come and talk about a few of my favorite moments on the show, etc. But anyway, I love the show to death. It really is destination viewing for me each week. And I'm even sad that it's only going to be another 4 episodes and then it's going to be done. I mean, I'm hoping against hope that they bring it back. I don't know exactly what they would do unless they put the house in a totally different country. I mean, I know Hawaii is the United States, but there's so many. They walk into restaurant after restaurant, shop after shop, and they can just speak Japanese to people in Hawaii. So it's really not getting them fish out of water element to it. Or I don't know how they could tweak the formula, but I'm sure they're thinking of how they can do it. But anyway, okay, thanks for watching, guys. And hopefully, if you dive in, let me know. If you've never watched it before, what are your initial reactions? And if you don't like it, come back and tell me, hey, I tried it, not my cup of tea, didn't like this, this, or this, or I just don't like reality TV. That's fine. It's certainly not crazy like Big Brother or some of those shows, on the UK where they're just like fighting, or Survivor where it's just devious, or where they're just jumping each other's bones right away, like in some of the other shows. It's much more genteel, but I find it fascinating, and maybe just because I live here and I'm around Japanese people all the time. It's definitely my go-to show every week. So, okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week or the week after. Okay, peace.